So here we are. Once again, once we have all the, we have the jute twine and the wax and everything in there, all we do is we just start adding twigs here. It's been raining here the past couple of days, so obviously I'm working with a bit of wet wood. You just gotta kind of experiment with, sort of what you need. If the wood's a little wetter, you might need to add a, thinner material. If the wood's a little more dry, maybe it doesn't matter as much. So you just start adding it down the chimney here. One tip that may be obvious, but you obviously need to have this the backcountry boiler actually on the fire pan portion before you start adding this stuff. You can't make the fire and then add the backcountry boiler because these twigs will be sticking up in a way that won't allow the boiler to actually seat properly on there. But yeah, you just start kind of filling this up here with some smaller items. I'm going to save some thicker pieces back here. Some more like pinky to finger sized. I'm working with mostly smaller than a pencil sized pieces here to kind of start with. You just kind of fill it up. Doesn't matter if stuff's sticking out the top or out the sides. It doesn't really matter. When I say out the sides, I mean out the the vent hole here out front. It doesn't necessarily matter that much as long as you've got a tight seal around the rim here, because obviously you don't want flame shooting out the side. It'll burn the neoprene casing here. Once you fill it up, all you have to do is set a light to it. And that jute twine goes right up. I'm going to want to start my clock here. The manufacturer recommends pointing the port hole, or whatever you'd like to call it, the air hole on the fire pan. They recommend sort of pointing it away from the wind when you start the fire, and then towards the wind once you've actually started it, so it actually feeds the flames. Doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't really require too much fiddling, as I've encountered so far, even in some pretty big winds. But obviously test it out. So it seems like we've got a decent fire going in there. Now I'm going to actually chuck in some of these thicker pieces. Once again, it doesn't necessarily matter if they're sticking out the top or anything, because eventually they're going to catch and drop down into the inside anyways. So once again, the backcountry boiler holds 2 full cups of water, so it's good, to rehydrate a meal and to to make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So it's nice, for breakfast you can make your oatmeal or whatever you're working on, and also have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Or for lunch or dinner you can do the same thing, rehydrate your meal with 1 cup and then have an additional cup to have a cup of afternoon tea or afternoon coffee or something. So let's take a look at the time here. A little over 2 minutes. And I'm not exactly sure how well you can see in here, but we're starting to get a little bit of fisheye action. I'm going to throw in one more thick piece. once again, you saw how much wood I started out with there, and that's how much I still have left over, and that'll probably be enough for me to get a good, decent boil. So it really doesn't require that much fuel to get a good boil going here. So. Things are definitely starting to heat up in there. A little over 3.5 minutes. I'm not exactly sure if the camera's picking this up or not, but the smoke that was previously pouring out of the top is now actually turned to flame. Flames are actually shooting out an inch or so above the sort of feed hole there. So. I'll throw a couple more medium-sized guys in there just for some extra fuel. One thing I have learned about wood fires is that it's a delicate balance between speed and the amount of fuel that you need in order to actually get things going. Just under 5 minutes. Trying to get some nice big fisheye sized bubbles in here. And we are at a rolling boil here. Water is bubbling pretty fiercely in there, and we are at 5.5 minutes. Once again, I'm not sure exactly how well you can see in there, but we're boiling pretty feverishly. So we achieved a boil in just over 5.5 minutes. 2 full cups of water. You saw the amount of fuel that went into it, the amount of time that went into actually making the fire and such. It's really a great. You gotta be careful, obviously. Once it really starts boiling, you really do have to be careful, because it really will boil over quickly. And you can see kind of the fire that's left. Once again, great little piece of kit. 5.5 minute boil. You get similar results with the alcohol burn. I think I'm going to do a quick little video of the alcohol burn as well. But there you have it, Backcountry Boiler.